Welcome, Sahil Adeem. Assalamu alaikum wa
Alaikum
rahmatullahi
assalam
wa
wa rahmatullah
barakatuh.
wa
What I'm
barakatuh.
most interested to learn now is that when we last met, you were relatively new in the UK, but now you've had a good 6 months of, shall I say, scouting up and down the whole country. You've met so many
Yeah.
communities, so many people, different cities you've covered. And what really has been your experience now of
I am a guy who's hungry for data all the time. So I don't think I've achieved that cutover where I can actually form a deeper conclusion as to
yeah,
to 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 put English Muslims in a box.
yeah.
I do not have that box right now. I have not met successful English Muslim youth, uh, enjoying that kind of confidence that human.
Welcome to the Art of Living podcast. And it's a great honor to have with us again Sahil Adeem, who I used to consider as a one man army. And after engaging with him over the last many few months, it's apparent that he's no longer seen as the one man army. Yes, definitely a man on a mission, but he really has an army behind the scenes whose mission is to change this whole concept of Islamic IQ, especially amongst the Muslim community. But it's not just about Muslims. When we sort of define things in terms of just Quran, Muslim identity, we find that it sort of automatically dispels a lot of people's attention. Really, there's something far bigger and greater that we are going to unveil and unravel in this conversation, that which is going to be a very, very big thing in the future. And we individually, it's up to us to see whether we want to be tapping into this power and resource, or are we going to be continuing to wander around disconnected in our own little world. Welcome, Sahil Adeem. Assalamu alaikum wa
Alaikum
rahmatullahi
assalam
wa
wa rahmatullah.
barakatuh.
Alaikum
It's
assalam.
nice to have you back, and
It's
it's been
lovely being
about
here.
6 months since we last spoke.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Time flies, and lots changed since then, hasn't it?
Yeah. But time didn't fly for me. Actually, it's
It
been the
didn't?
longest 6 months of my life. Yeah.
Really? Or is that probably
Yeah.
because you've been away from home?
Not just that. It's every day is a different problem to solve, which is good. Alhamdulillah. This is the reason why we're here. But
But what I'm
it's been like,
most
I mean, I feel like it's been like 5 years ago that I met you. It's
really
like that. Yeah. It's
What
just like
what I'm
that.
most interested to learn now is that when we last met, you were relatively new in the UK, but now you've had a good 6 months of, shall I say, scouting up and down the whole country. You've met so many
Yeah.
communities, so many people, different cities you've covered. And what really has been your experience now of life in the UK for the Muslims? And is it what you perceived it to be, or was there something that shocked you, or what is it? What's your feedback?
I am a guy who's hungry for data all the time. So I don't think I've achieved that cutover where I can actually form a deeper conclusion as to
Yeah,
to 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 put English Muslims in a box.
yeah.
I do not have that box right now. I have not met successful English Muslim youth, enjoying that kind of confidence that human beings deserve. Every human being
What's the
deserves.
definition of a successful English Muslim youth, or even a mature person? What's your definition of that success?
The definitions would be that if I write something in my laptop, it should change things around the world, even if it's just an email. That's
Talking about influence now.
not just influence. I'm talking about. I'm just not talking about the nudging part of how the butterfly effect would actually take care of the rest. I'm talking about making policy changes, making human progress, literally coming straight from the Quran to and see, this is how I see it. If I this is natural. This is as basic as it gets. When you come down to the human behavior, you see those basic constants. Let me give you an example so that people won't just get overwhelmed by this kind of terminology. When was the last time you read a book from any writer, fiction or nonfiction, an amazing piece of literature that really touched you, like really touched you. Uh, and when you went through it, what was the first thing you did? This is as basic as it gets.
Implement those suggestions, what you've learned.
No, you didn't. No. You did that later on. You did, of course, you did, because it changed you. But and the whole process began. But you did something. There was some certain change that made you do something in particular that happens to every human being. That's the basis of, what my case is about Islam, or what I want Muslims to start doing as the first mental disposition. So go back in time. Whenever you read, go through the finest piece of intellectual juice that really pumped your blood vessels to the fullest. The first thing you did was you went across all your friends and family, and you made sure that everybody got to know that you've discovered some treasure. You went, regardless of whoever came to you, the first thing you talked about was, have you read this book? And you wanted to talk about those parts of that book which you found the most enticing, exciting, captivating, and game-changing.
Because it's obviously increased my knowledge in a subject.
So no, but why does a human being want to spread it?
That's
Well-
right. If it's impacted me, then obviously I want to share it with others. And
Why? See, we have to dig down just a little to know how human beings are designed, and we can reverse engineer these sort of elements into the purpose of life. So whenever we go through these sort of events, we instantaneously want to spread it out, not so that we can claim that we got it first, even though that is what we see right now, that little element of arrogance and bigotry that I can smell everywhere. But the utter desire to get everybody on board, to form a club,
yeah,
a club for everyone to come in and get into the zone, so that everyone starts to speak the same language of that fascination.
but sometimes we have that element of a selfish desire in us. We found something, we don't want to share it as well. This should just stay with me.
Yeah, that's the difference between any other kind of treasure and intellectual treasure.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And whenever you go through that sort of a feeling, you really need to, you listen to an amazing scholar, an amazing lecture. First thing you do is you give your best friend a call. Listen to this. You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, that giving factor comes into play.
That's why we share these messages on social media when we come across a good lecture or
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get at something here. See, this was the first mental disposition of every prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to Adam alayhi salam, to our last prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the first disciples of the prophets, and they were not doing this as a responsibility to just make the change.
They did it with passion.
No, they did it because it was the design of the human being to do it.
Yeah.
They were doing it as the central core of their energy was the fascination, that lift that they got. They wanted everyone to come into the elevator, like literally the elevator. They wanted everyone to be in that elevator so that everyone can go up.
Yeah.
And they can go to a new realm altogether. This is the feeling that Muslims are missing right now. Muslims are actually going away from the Quran. And if they read the Quran, they're actually shy in giving that message to anybody else. See,
But you said a short while ago, this is inbuilt into us.
and hence the solution here right now. I mean, we can see the diagnosis, we can see the cause, we can see the effects, and now we can see the solution.
So why we stop doing that with the
Because
Quran
we're not
then?
getting fascinated by the Quran.
Right, okay.
If it were fascinating us the way it's supposed to fascinate, because that is the design of the Quran, to fascinate people. Bashiran wa nazira. Okay. So the first thing is the Quran should do is to fascinate the deepest core of our mind, our body, our soul. It should fascinate us.
So are you saying that it's it's not obviously it's an issue on our part that we are not being stimulated intellectually by the Quran.
Yeah, of course. The Quran, any book that any writer writes, he writes because he gets fascinated by a concept.
Yeah.
And that in turn fascinates the reader.
Yeah.
Any book. I'm talking about a good piece of literature, not even the greatest. Now the Quran is from Allah Azza wa Jal,
Yeah.
the designer of the sense and the hardware of fascination.
Yeah.
This has to couple together right off the bat. So if we are not getting fascinated by the Quran, we're not going to spread it.
Yeah.
If so much so that we're going to do exactly the opposite. Because we do make sure that all those movies, all those books, all those songs.
We talk about them.
No, we do not talk about. We talk bad about. We go lowest on the rating if we don't like it. We make sure that lower rating is spread way more than the higher rating that we give.
Okay.
Because,
Negativity spreads
the
faster.
spectrum, the two extremes of the spectrum are, if anything, the negative part of that side of that spectrum is way more effective because it affects us way more. So right now, the Muslims, see, we know what human fascinations are and with the design of the fascination. We know that. I mean, through neurology, through behavioral psychology, through sociology, through the political aspects of things, through economics, through the whole course and the cyclic, the cycles of wealth generation, the psychology of things.
See, the corporations have understood that very well.
So much so that they design every single element of
To
their
hook
company.
us in as consumers.
Not just hook us, but to keep us there.
Yeah.
And not just to, they don't follow our fascination. They create our fascination.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between a great company and a good company. Good company meets the expectation of the customer.
Yeah.
Great companies create the fascinations of the customer. Okay. Now, I've experimented in telecom in my own capacity as the guy who's supposed to experiment. I was on payroll by telecom to experiment on people. Create products that actually create the dopamine cycle, not follow the dopamine cycle, not enhance it. No, create it.
And what did you create?
We create telecom products,
Yeah.
and we broke records. Till date, the Pakistani telecom, the company that I was working with, still holds global, and some Asian, and some regional records, which are not going to be broken. Fastest SIM on sale, fastest product on sale, most amount of SIM sold in a month, quarter, or a year. Still, till date, that holds the record.
So
Okay, no, what I'm saying is, we know how the fascination works. The problem is that Muslims never looked at it from an angle that the Quran was the core and the source of the design of fascination. It's not a book of fascination. It is the book of the design of fascination. It is way bigger. It is so much bigger that I don't even have words, and I know words about this concept.
So this technology, even though it's like intellectual technology, it should have been like in our fingertips, should have been us who would be at the forefront of this. We've become
and drive
enslaved.
the human progress.
Rather than driving the human progress, we actually have become enslaved
By
corporations and others who have understood this, taken this, and applied it in a secular way for commercial exploitation.
Selfish gains. I call it selfish gains, because if a company is selfish, it's going to do whatever it takes.
Of course.
So, because they didn't really go into the deepest part of the mind or the brain yet. God knows what they're going to do because they're working on it, and not for this very reason, because they're pure medicinal research. They're doing it for medicine.
They're doing it more for curiosity with a view to developing end games.
End games, yes, that's that.
Look at the proliferation of AI now in our society.
Yeah, well, that's an instrument, right? That's not the source or the cause of
No,
any
but
fascination.
that's a manifestation of
That's a manifestation, yes.
of their hard work and their curiosity, which has led them to these end products. I mean, how many Muslims have created artificial intelligence tools?
Again, they're never going to do that. And even if they do that, they're not going to do it as Muslims. They're just going to do it as part of whatever, culture that they're in.
Yeah.
And that culture, if it has these sort of instruments as part of the, your regular fascination cycles. They're going to follow it. Don't
Yeah.
worry. But see, my problem is that Quran was the technology. It spoke to the technology. It can recreate technology. It can resurrect the whole system of our fascination and fear. And we never even looked at it from that angle.
We just
This-
read it for swab.
Not even that. We don't even do that anymore. Less than 1% of all Muslims are attached to the Quran. Let's just call it a spade a spade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't even do that. They just keep it for barakah only. They don't even open it. In a regular Muslim household, a Quran is there never to be read or opened. It is dusted, cleaned really well, kissed, put right there in that safekeeping. It's in for the drawers only. You need to understand.
We don't use it as a manual for
Yeah,
every
because
daily living.
because they don't know it's the manual. Nobody told us it's the manual. Allah Azza wa Jal keeps telling us it's the manual. Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba kept using it as a manual.
Again, it's because we have been engrossed into cultural practices. I tell you about myself. When we were growing up in the UK, it was, okay, school, after school, hour or two, send the kids to the madrasa or to the masjid. Just learn how to read the Quran. Once the child's read, okay, he's read, bache ne par liya Quran, that's it. You can
They didn't
not
read
go
the-
back to the masjid
They
again.
didn't read the Quran.
No, they just learned how to read it
No,
without
they just learned
understanding.
how to understand reading Arabic. They
Yeah.
never learned or read the Quran.
Yeah, of course, we're saying the same thing, but
No.
Yeah.
You have to understand. I'm
Yeah.
saying it from a totally different angle.
Yeah.
You need to understand what's the change in the angle of why I said what
No,
implied to
I
what you
totally
said.
understand. I totally agree with you. They haven't read the Quran, but we just read the
No, I'm not
learned
talking
Arabic.
intellectually here.
No. We're talking about just reading the Arabic only, which they did.
Yeah. So
Without
even
understanding it.
if I say whatever in Arabic or write anything Arabic and put it as part of the Quran, na'udhu
Yeah.
he wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. So he didn't read the Quran.
Yeah.
You need to understand, if I tell you that, I've written a book and somebody puts his own book and just changes the title, you would not be able to tell whether it's my book or not because somebody changed the title, right?
Yes.
Just like that, if we don't even understand whether something is from Allah Azza wa Jal, how to detect whether this is from Allah Azza wa Jal, how to detect whether this is from Allah Azza wa Jal, I am not reading the word of Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah.
You need to understand how basic this is.
Yeah.
Now, I know the arguments the audience would be, going through this sort of a dissonance. As what are you talking about? They read the Quran, so they read the
Yeah,
Quran.
I mean, somebody could be saying, hang on, I've read the Quran, I read the Arabic, okay, I don't understand the Arabic, but I've read the English translation.
Yeah.
So I
No,
understand.
I'm not talking about the translation. Okay. That's a totally different discussion.
Okay.
I'm just talking about the culture through which we put kids into the Quran.
Yeah.
They don't go through the Quran because
yeah.
they're not trained on understanding the concept of Allah Azza wa Jal. So if you do not understand who Allah Azza wa Jal is and what the whole concept is about the Quran, then you're just giving him a lot of Arabic language literature and go through it, and you're not even understanding the kind of mistakes you're making or why you're reading it or what you're reading, how to read it. You're just, living it out so that your daddy's he's gonna hit you less. Your mommy's gonna scold you less. You're just putting yourself in a couch.
Tick box.
Yeah, that's it.
But what that leads me to then is that if that has been my experience as well, and I'm quite old now compared to the kids growing up now, that it shows then as Muslims we've not really even tapped into the potential of the Quran and developed ourselves as the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as we were intended to be. We are just living and existing. We're not tapped into the biggest source of IQ, of inter-academic, inter-emotional, spiritual intelligence that exists on this planet.
Well, we don't even know that it is. That's why we're not going there. Once we know that it is what it is, everyone's going to go there. And everyone's not just going to go there. Everyone's going to read it, go through it, and then we're going to make sure that they spread it all over their circles. You need to understand that's human behavior.
Yeah.
That's basic. That's like the first thing human beings are. That's like the zygote
So
of our
that
soul.
should be the blueprint, no doubt. That should form part of the blueprint to uplift our Muslim nations and individuals, and which obviously, as you said, there's a big disconnection there.
The biggest disconnection in the history of all mankind, the sons and daughters of Adam alayhi salam, the biggest disconnect is when Muslims disconnected themselves from the Quran. That's like the biggest thing that ever happened to all human beings. That's how big the Quran is. That's how big the potential of the Quran is, and hence that's how big the problem is.
So is that something as part of your mission to try and reconnect
That's my
people?
only mission. That's my only mission. The intellectual warfare. That's what we call it in IMS. IMS is our movement. Get everyone to understand the potential of the Quran first, and then equip yourself to become competent to go into the potential zone and translate to the human beings. Allah Azza wa Jalla in Surah Jummah spoke about this clearly about our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He says, I sent this man Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to do 4 things. يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتٍ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ. Okay, not in this order though. So, 4 things. And we don't even know those 4 things, what they mean. This is the strategy of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This is the strategy of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the strategy of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Let's understand our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam first.
Yeah.
Our Nabi Muhammad bin Abdullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the plan, the strategy, and the objective of Allah Azza wa Jal in this, is the technique and the methodology of Allah Azza wa Jal.
That's why when we say follow the Sunnah, it means
come into the plan of Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
And that's how what the Sahabas.
But we've reduced following the Sunnah to miswak and keeping a beard.
Not even that. You know what? Regular perception about the psychology of the word Sunnah is that is a Sunnah. It's not a Fard.
Yeah.
They've actually, downcasted it so much that it's not even part of their human behavior anymore.
Wow. But that is now manifesting in our state, outwardly, individually.
That's yu'allimuhum al-kitab. That's the affair of the state. That's the psychology of power.
Yeah.
Yu'allimuhum al-kitab is the psychology of power.
Yeah.
And we can go in details about how that comes in. But yatlu alayhim ayat. You tell me any one translation around the world right now, which translates all of these 4 elements based on the ayah right before, because in that ayah, in the first ayah of Surah Jummah, Allah Azza wa Jal is compartmentalizing all of these 4 components, coupling them one by one with His own sifat. With His own sifat, Allah Azza wa Jal sifat. So, you tell me if you know the right translation, or you can claim that this is what it means, Yatlu alayhim ayat, even though in Arabic it doesn't really mean what it's written in all over the world, Muslim ummahs. That's why we don't understand why Allah Azza wa Jal is saying the definition of His strategy, the layout of His strategy, Allah Azza wa Jal's strategy, which is our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that He's going to, we've sent this to you, this man to you, He's going to do 4 things. Every prophet that we send used to do one thing of one of these 4. This man, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, is going to do all 4. And when we say Yatlu alayhim ayat, everywhere you go in the human planet Earth of Muslims, it says he's going to recite the Quran. Well, if he's going to recite the Quran, then what does it mean by yu'allimuhum al-kitab then? Because kitab is coming right after it. So in Arabic, Yatlu alayhim ayat was to follow the signs. The word ayat is the code Allah Azza wa Jal, the clue Allah Azza wa Jal is saying to decipher. Everywhere Allah Azza wa Jal uses the word ayah in the Quran, Allah Azza wa Jal is talking about the physics of the universe, the biology of the body. The signs that I have actually, the miracles of Allah Azza wa Jal that you have already got, the technology. You got to decipher the technology, the formula. Yatlu alayhim ayat is to follow the signs, follow the clues.
That's why this is a guidance for mankind till the end of times.
Yeah.
But we have, as I said, in one way, cast it aside, thinking that it was more relevant to that period. But now we are intellectually more superior because we have Western doctrine education to
Yeah.
follow.
Yeah. So I was talking to my son, and because I knew what the boys, because he was into universe sandbox, planets, the solar system, and all of those. He knew. I mean, he was talking physics from like when he was 3, since he
Okay.
was 3. So by 6th or 7th year of his age, I said, listen, let me give you a book, a real book of astronomy. Okay. This book has not just astronomy, it's going to make you go through how this universe works. Okay? And it's way beyond the cosmic microwave background. Okay? This CMB thing is too little. And you need to know what's going on there. You need to really understand what's going on there. And then this book is going to just give you those layers, and it's going to split this whole universe into two. And you're going to see it splitting right in front of you. And then you're going to see how the two splits are revolving around the central core. Now, does your universe sandbox have that kind of information? It says no, but I do not know how to read books. And I said, no, I'm gonna read it for you, and you're gonna actually ask me questions. Then this book is gonna teach you how to travel through time and make sure how you understand what happened to the last people who actually used this book, for the first people, and then the second people who used this book, what happened to them, and what kind of technology they got, and what kind of problems they went through, because everybody wanted that technology. And then I gave him the Quran. And I'm like, this is how it's going to work. Because I knew his fascination was, and every child, every mother should know, every father should know, every child is designed on this fascination of astronomy. This is why Allah Azza wa Jalla in the Quran keeps going back to this ayah. Where, can't you look up? Don't you see? In the time of Nuh alayhi salam, Allah Azza wa Jalla is saying in the Quran that don't you see up in the 7 heavens, and you do not see it? Do you see any flaws? Do you not see these heavens layer over the other? Did they have a telescope at the time of Nuh alayhi salam? So that means that they had some sort of a technology, of intellectual technology. Then Nuh alayhi salam was giving them the vision and explaining them one by one, the way I'm trying to explain to my child without a telescope. That's the first ugly toy I bought him, a telescope. Because he demanded it. And every child in every house knows SpaceX, knows the solar system, knows the Jupiter, names of the moons of Jupiter. Everyone, I mean, I don't even have to, talk about it. Everyone knows. You have kids, they're into it.
Yeah.
How does that happen? How did Mayans talk about space? How did the Sumerians talk? The Sumerians 16,000 years ago drew the solar system. And it is 16,000 years ago. Ask me. Okay, you have to read the real literature to understand the timeline. Solar system, they were drawing the solar system. The Egyptians putting the pyramids right on the, aligning it according to the astronomy. The Stonehenge, right here, Stonehenge is really an astronomical clock. Yeah. Really. Everything is about astronomy from ever since human beings are here. And the Quran, from the first ayah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, draws 7 heavens right in front. The first ayah.
Yeah.
Tu minal jinnati wan nas, the realms. The dimensions, Jinnah wa Nas, the dimensions, they can see you from there, you cannot see them. The other dimension. From the first ayah till the last ayah, Quran talks to
soul scientific,
to the core
paranormal.
Of. Yeah. It's really, and and I can go on for days talking about what the Quran does. But what I'm saying is, see, if the child is designed, hold on. If the parenting is designed on the technology Allah has given in the child, on the technology, and understands that the Quran is for that technology. That's the manual of that technology. They're going to connect it right from, day one.
Yeah.
And they're going to find out, and I don't even have to say that, without the Quran, and I know Muslims don't follow the Quran. You don't have to hide the truth. Muslims are totally doing their best to hide the Quran from their kids. Now, even without the Quran, human beings, when we see our kids, they are, showing us, manifesting the inner being, inner technology to their parents and to their, to the surroundings all the time. Parents call them personality types, which are not personality types, by the way. This is the technology type. This is the human being. Every human being is designed the same way. Personality type is a totally different concept. In a totally different way, you have to look at it. What I am talking to is the pattern of every child coming about in every household, and we're still not reading into it. Every human child, is a girl or a boy, goes through the same thing, and we are not harnessing it.
But that highlights to me that there is a parenting crisis, in the sense that the parents are now, because of their own lack of skills in terms of interpreting and connecting with the Quran, that's manifesting in how they're upbringing their children.
That's that will be level 3 or 4. I'll tell you what level 3 or 4 looks like. Parenting is level 2, by the way. Quran is level 1. Parenting is level 2. Okay, the whole philosophy of parenting has to sit on the
foundations of the Quran.
Foundations of the Quran. But the kind of definition that we have of the Quran, the psychology around the word Quran, the book of the Quran, is way off. It's way off. So we're never going to come to the Quran.
So that love we have is very superficial then.
Not even that. Even superficial love that make you do stuff, right?
Okay.
A lot of people got married with superficial love, and they still have babies.
Yeah.
Our superficial love of the Quran didn't fetch us anything over the Quran. We didn't even open the book. We're just using Islam as a club to get married. That's it. That's the only thing, if we are doing that. Most of the people don't even ask that question anymore. That I need a girl, okay, is she a Muslim? A boy is a Muslim? That's it. We're using Islam as a marital, what's the word? A shadi.com, a marriage.com counter. That's it. It's a ceremonial thing, and only for the marital purpose only. Otherwise, we don't even follow any and everything, even before or after the marriage. The Quran is not even playing any role in our sociology.
You can't brush everybody with the same stroke, surely.
I'm just brushing the deeper part of the pattern, which is a translation of their psychology. I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about patterns and behaviors. Okay.
But what's the data for that in terms of how much of the Muslims are affected by this?
Well, we are the bottom 2% of the planet right now in terms of socio-economic, political, and intellectual growth of the human beings right now. We are the bottom 2%. Anything lower than that, I don't even want to talk about, because, it doesn't really matter. We are the biggest population by ethnicity in terms of practice of rituals. Christians, 3 billion, they don't have any one ritual that they practice. We're actually practicing certain rituals which are combining all 2 billion people together. And still, we are the bottom 2%.
Why?
That's exactly what I'm saying. We see, the only one thing that we have is the Quran. The things that Quran have, we have none of those. All the things that the Quran has to give, we have none of those. Quran has the power to give us the political acumen. Quran has the power to give us spiritual acumen, moral acumen. Not just the potential. It has the manifesto. It has the strategy, and it has the KPIs. It literally has the KPIs of moral life in human planet. It has the KPIs of spiritual life.
No, but when I ask why, I mean, yes, we know the answer, but why have we become disconnected from the source?
Yeah, because we don't look at the Quran as the book of treasure.
Yeah.
We do not look at the Quran as the book that connects the wires. Those sockets that I was born with, those sockets of fascination and fear, those sockets were not plugged in by the wires of the Quran. And no one is going to do that, because we don't think that the Quran has those wires coming out. Those plugs in the Quran are to be plugged into the human mind.
As we said, we think it's a book of poetry, a book of stories of the past, a book for read for sawab, not the AI manual for living in the 2025 and beyond.
The OI, the original intelligence.
Yeah, original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. the NI, the needed intelligence.
Yes.
Okay. The PI, the potential intelligence.
Yeah.
The human beings can.
So without doubt, then this
The
is
RI,
affecting.
the real intelligence.
So this is affecting the Muslim IQ, without a shot, and affecting our potential.
No, it's affecting. No. Let's not be so stingy. It's not affecting the Muslim IQ. It's affecting the human IQ. 2 billion people, if they had a 150 plus IQ on average,
Yeah.
the whole planet would have lifted up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You need to understand,
let's-
Einstein grew everybody's IQ.
Yeah.
Okay, physicists right now inventing stuff, discovering stuff, biologists writing papers, mathematicians writing their equations are raising your and my kids' IQ right now without even
Irrespective of culture, religion,
irrespective. It's
and
called
nationality.
morphic resonance. They resonate through all and every. Next generation is going to be born smarter. It is that important.
But just even putting things into perspective, there's 2 billion Muslims in the in the world. So if they do not fully utilize the
Fully, no,
potential,
no.
but on the opposite, you've got probably 6 billion non-Muslims. So our opportunity to not only affect ourselves and fully raise and elevate ourselves intellectually, spiritually, emotionally, in every way, is obviously impacting the 6 billion other people as well, that we're not getting the message across to them.
Yeah, because that's where I started. If we knew what the treasure, we would have put the message across to them as our core make. Every human being's just hands over the book.
Yeah.
Whatever he likes, that you have to read it.
Yes.
He forces it down everybody's throat.
How do we reverse this then?
Well, we go through the original design. That's it. It's a good question. That's probably the only question to be answered right now. Okay, how do we get back?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we look at the body, we look at the mind, we look at the design of the hardware. Okay. And then we reverse engineer the solution and put the Quran wherever that's, where it demands it to be in. So how, let me just give you an example. Music right now. Probably the only thing that is common between 8 billion people. Okay. And I'm using IMS as my audience right now. So what is music? And I'm talking about the Quran right now, okay? So you need to understand how to put the Quran back into the Muslim machine, okay? 2 billion people, 2 billion moving parts have to be connected into a single...
That's quite fascinating what you said, how music is the one thing that connects people, the 8 billion people around the world, beyond religion,
Anything.
culture, national IDs, borders.
Yeah.
If there's a pop star or music stars, their music can resonate all around the world. And what does Islam say about music?
I'm getting there, because music is one of those. I'm going to talk about the top 5 agenda that I have for IMS as a research lab.
Yeah.
Those 5 things have to be in our first draft of how to look at I'm trying to tell you how to look at research. No, so we know how music works.
Yeah.
No, we know how music works in the neurology of things.
Yeah.
So music taps into the dopamine centers, and it creates a surge of dopamine in 5 different ways in every single second of whenever or wherever we're listening to whatever kind of music. It is tapping into our
Is it going to be a music that you like, or could be any music?
If you like it, it's going to enhance the dopamine surge way more.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you got the bass, you got the riffs, you got the secondary instruments which are going to enhance the effect, and they're going to complement the bass. And then you got the melody, then you got the poetry, and then you got the rhythm of all of them combined together. All of these 4 or 5 things are as basic as it gets for dopamine surge. You get more dopamine if your bass artist is playing the drum at the perfect interval. Otherwise, he's gonna break the rhythm, right? But as soon as I strike the drum, or whatever you call it, and then I do not follow the pattern of the rhythm, my brain is going to react negatively. And if I'm following the rhythm, my brain is going to react to get more dopamine in. Okay. So I'm tapping this, and now you already have a rhythm made. Now your brain is anticipating the next tap. That anticipation is getting dopamine in you.
Yeah.
Right? And if I start doing this, and randomize it, now you're getting irritation because that dopamine's demand in your mind, just because I'm just doing this in a rhythm, your demand of that dopamine center is not fulfilled.
met,
It's not
yeah.
being met. Now you do this over a 10-minute or a 5-minute song, and it's not just this going on in the song, right? There are 5 layers of orchestra coming in. I'm talking about poetry. I'm talking about melody. I'm talking about the second instrument, the third instrument, the fourth instrument, and then the kind of wave, the crest to the trough, the amplitude of the wave has to be perfect. That's called the note, right? Now that human ear is designed to anticipate the perfect note. We're designed. Okay. And as soon as that crest and the trough is not of the same magnitude, we get irritated. Okay. Because it's not sing in tune, or the note is not sung in tune. So all of this talks to us understanding that this is the human hardware design. Now, why I'm talking about music? Because Muslims should have been going into the human psychology and biology, which is neuroscience in this case, and making sure that this sort of fascination, this sort of demand of dopamine, this sort of demand of serotonin, this irritation, which is epinephrine, should have been, instead of human beings jumping into music, we should have already placed something which is way bigger of a dopamine and a serotonergic cocktail from the Quran, from the realms of human behavior and lives. We could have easily substituted it by now. But Muslims don't even know how the human body works, how music actually interacts with the human brain. If they don't know it, how are they going to fix it? Let's just say, politics. Politics is power. Power is
An aphrodisiac, basically.
it's serotonin. How does the dominance hierarchy work? Serotonin actually has a stepwise upthrust. Okay? And that actually creates a totally different model of your own fascination. Human beings, whoever in power, they're not enjoying the kind of level of fascination that they anticipated. And for that gap to have from the anticipated power to the actual power that they have, the anticipated things that they can achieve or do to the actual things that they can achieve or do, there's always going to be a gap.
Yeah.
That gap, if it comes, if you reduce that gap, that man is going to go into depression or nihilism. Okay? Regardless of whatever level of power he has. Okay? Even power on his own self to power over people, power over more people, power over everybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
Because he's got nothing to look forward to.
Yes,
work
exactly. This gap is the design
Yeah.
of how Allah Azza wa Jal says, you know what? يَحْسَبُ أَنَّ مَالَهُ أَخْلَدَ. That whenever he thinks it's forever.
Yeah.
Whatever he gets, he thinks it's going to remain forever. جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَ. He keeps collecting. That's the dopamine. He keeps collecting. And then he keeps counting. Okay? Now, the Quran is talking about these gaps and how human beings are designed to fulfill these gaps, or fill these gaps, sorry. And these gaps are never going to be filled. The Prophet said, if the son of Adam gets a mountain of gold,
He wants another.
he wants a second mountain of gold now. And then Prophet continues, he says, nothing's going to fulfill the son of Adam other than the soil of the grave.
So that's why you get the likes of, I don't like mentioning names, but Elon Musk. They reached the heights of financial pinnacle of success, but now they're aiming to get into politics and trying to get power as well, because there's something that is unfulfilled inside
That gap, it's just, that gap, you can't even use the finest microscopes in the world. It is so little. I'm talking about the physicality of it. But it is so much that we can see in this planet and the history.
Yeah.
And Muslims are not even looking at it as looking at the body and the soul and the whole, because the Quran is for the human beings. Okay? Quran is for the structure of the human beings. Human beings, if we had a different structure, we would have a different behavior. If we had a different behavior, Allah would have written a different book. This book is for this planet's basic
Basic.
and the epitome.
But it's obvious, isn't it, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of the human being, created the Quran, and the Quran is a manual for the human being. So we need to be running our life or mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically in accordance with the manual that has been designed for. If you buy a phone, then it comes with a manual of how to operate that. Or let's say a car. A car comes with a manual of how to operate the car. If we ignore the manufacturer's manual and we try and operate the car with our own intellect, thinking this is probably this button I'll press, or this is how I should drive this car, then we're going to crash it.
Not just, we won't even be able to start it, let alone crash it.
Let's say you, by all means, by hook or crook, you started.
No, we can't. We haven't. People are making their cars, and we are driving their cars, and we're crashing their cars.
Yeah.
We haven't invented our own car yet.
Yes.
We have all the recipe for it. We haven't even gone to the garage yet.
Yeah.
That's the difference between anybody else doing whatever and Muslims doing whatever for the Quran. So when I said music, that's like, one of those, pandemics of human behavior right now.
But don't forget, it's also written in the Quran that it's a tool of the devil as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. That instead of us looking at music as, it's a spiritual disease. No, it's a medical disease.
Yeah.
If you look at it
Yeah.
from a medical point of view. We don't research it. Yeah. Politics is not a disease. You need to understand. But it has become the biggest disease for all Muslims right now. For whatever's going on in Palestine or whatever.
Yeah.
So if we do not understand the Quran and how to actually incorporate this technology into our own selves, we're not going to be able to read the Quran. You need to understand. So I'll give you the smallest example, which is going to be understood, because this could become a little heavy for people who are listening to this. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. You pull out any translation. You're going to find out that translation is not designed to talk to the human psychology and does not really speak to the verse following and the verse following that and the verse following that. The word falak is deemed as the sky. Even though the word falak in Arabic is the splitter. Once you know what the splitter means, you'll understand why Allah Azza wa Jal spoke about whatever He spoke about right after this in this very surah. And when a human child is going to find out that this is what it means, he is going to spend not just his time, but the whole life trying to understand the whole universe and how Allah Azza wa Jal, used the word falak, and how from the smallest atom, which splits into giving birth to bigger, atoms, from the seed which splits to, give birth to the big trees, to the universe which started from an atom, and
the Big Bang.
No, it's not just the Big Bang. The concept of splitting, and not just splitting, but splitting into equal halves. Okay, I was going through this because I lived in China for a bit, because I work in China Mobile, and they were talking about this yin yang philosophy, and I said, where'd you get? Because I was too curious, and I said, where'd you get this from? Who started this? Mm-hmm. And this guy says, you know what? This is a school that chooses the student. This is not the in this case, the student doesn't choose the school. So you'll get it when you'll get it. Someone's going to train you into yin yang. Yeah. And I said, I am here. I'm in the school. You're the one who knows it. The school already has chosen me. Yeah. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here. There are no coincidences in Islam, right? So he says, where'd you get that from? There are no coincidences in Islam. Okay, and I said, because I believe in the all-knowing creator. If there's an all-knowing creator, nothing can be a coincidence in his creation or any kind of algorithm. He got so fascinated, he started explaining to me what the yin yang is. He says, the yin yang is an equal split of between good and evil, and whoever made good has to make evil. And whoever has made evil has to weigh good on the same amount. And whoever created the human beings created the good and evil. That's the trifecta of yin yang. And I said, did you say an equal split? And he says, yes. The yin yang is based on a spiral splitter.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? This is exactly what our book has been trying to tell you guys for 1,400 years. But because of incompetent people like me, we couldn't translate our book to your brains who were hungry for this sort of fascination, and you came up with your own. And I don't know who told you this, but some guy who, thousands and thousands of years ago, maybe a prophet alayhi salam, came to your region and started all of this, and now you've deviated from so much that you kept the philosophy, you kept the sense of it, and you put all of whatever you could because of your own progress or whatever you evolved into understanding your own meanings. So
Sorry.
what I'm saying is, a kid is born with the fascination of astronomy. If you do not give the astronomy of the Quran, he's not going to go to the Quran.
He's going to go somewhere else and
the
fulfill
people
it.
of power we were all fascinated by power. That's our core design. We're designed for power. Our chief chemical is serotonin. We're designed for power regardless of whether we have it or not. Even if I don't have it, I'm going to create a tiny little realm which is weaker than
house,
you.
If it's in
Even if I don't get my own power in my own house, I'm going to create a realm which is weaker than me so I can practice power in that realm. Could be anything, anywhere. So people of power, to create people of power and to satisfy people of power. The Quran already had that technology. We never presented the Quran to the people in a way that they can actually come into power, retain power, and apply power the way a power is supposed to be applied.
In a morally just
Yeah.
way.
And that was going to enhance their power.
Yeah.
We still name our kids Ali and Umar and Uthman and Abu Bakr, and we're going to keep doing that till the day of judgment because these people applied power in the perfect possible way. If they did not have power, we would not have been able to name, because we know so many Sahabas, which we know only through their work. We don't even know their names. You need to understand. We know these because they become the epitome of every single thing that Prophet ﷺ was teaching them. Not just these four, obviously. There's so many. The Ashara Mubashirin and the house of the Ahlul Bayt and the people who were putting big roles into all of those elements on the spectrum. Because there are so many Sahabas which did not fill the whole spectrum. Some names, became the spectrum. Sa'ad bin Ma'az and Abu Dhar Ghifari, they became the whole spectrum. Abu Darda. These people were like, big torches because they were going through the whole psychology of the Quran as one man. Obviously not every Sahabi is the same level, but these people are like, walking, talking manifestation of the psychology of the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Still, this is why still we name our kids. That's the element of, that's the sign of
The awe that we have.
Yeah, the awe, that's the word. That's the first byproduct, the awe. Thousands and thousands years ago, people are still in awe of the way you lived.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they didn't live it out so that people could be in awe. That's the very basis of this power. You're not doing it for yourself. They did not chase their own legacy. Ali bin Abi Talib did not think, you know what, people are going to name Ali, their sons Ali till the day of judgment, so I should do this today. That's not the design of the Quran. That's not the design of the Sahabas. They did it so that their power, their serotonin, is aligned directly north to Allah Azza wa Jal directly in the Quran and the Prophet. So
that's exactly the next thing I wanted to mention. Our mental sort of and cognitive disconnection with the Quran, no doubt, is affecting our salah. It's affecting our hajj, our level of charity giving, and just generally the whole concept of Islam, the way we live our life. But the most important thing is the being in the connection and presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are disconnected. How many people on a day-to-day basis live their lives as if they are living in the divine presence and connection?
We cannot. You cannot. We just know the concept of Allah Azza wa Jal. We do not know the concept of the presence of Allah Azza wa Jal.
Yeah. Which is the ultimate pinnacle of Islam. Which is you live your life as if you can see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The highest level and state of ihsan is that you see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but if you can't see Him, at least know that He is with you, watching you and hearing you, and yet we don't even live our life in accordance with that.
Yeah, so since we didn't understand the psychology of the word of Quran, the psychology around the book of Quran, we had to change we have naturally changed our definitions of everything. So let's just take Salah, for example. Salah is not the way, the psychology of the concept of Salah and the practice of Salah, the element of Salah, the pillar of Salah, is, which is today, is not the psychology of the Sahabas. Sahabas looked at Salah in a totally different way because Prophet ﷺ trained people of why Salah is first before what Salah is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For us, it's just a ritualistic,
Not even that. For us, this is just
a burden,
yeah.
a chore.
It's
Unfortunately,
something that I have to do. Otherwise, I will be burnt into hell. That's it. That's the first question. So I won't even make it. That's what we're trained into. Every company, every CEO of every company requires his employees to come together, talk about the vision, see who's missing out wherever, and transfer whatever you got to him, train him into it, understand each other, so that there's a team built. And if you guys don't come together, it doesn't really matter, who's the expert, who's not, who's better, who's worse. Everyone's going to suffer. The top guy is going to suffer. The perfect employees are going to suffer. You guys are not coming together.
the company's going to suffer.
Yeah, hence the town hall, right?
Yeah.
So the town hall for all Muslims, because we were problem solvers here. We had a vision and we had a purpose. So there had to be a town hall. There had to be a town hall at least once a year. That's the Hajj. Now we treat Hajj as if an individual ibadah who come there, don't even know what's going on. We do the manasik and we go and we say, you know what? Allah Azza wa Jal has cleansed us. Allah Azza wa Jal told us why Hajj is before Hajj was prescribed. Everyone has to come together, understand each other, learn from each other, and see what's going on. Use the exposure, gain your IQ, make sure you know that you can give something to somebody who's there as a community. Connect people together to network, build a team, transfer resources, especially mental resources. Even if it comes down to economic resources. Come together, share data. This is what's going on in my area. How do work around those? Well, how are you doing it with those in these issues in your areas? And then one guy comes in, talks about how the Quran is going to address all of these issues. Do you think any of the last 100, 200, 300, 500, 600 Hajj that has ever been performed, do you think any one of those Hajj took care of this angle for the Ummah?
Certainly not in the last couple of 100 years.
I'm thinking not in the last 1,000 years. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 years. People I have a company which has employees all over the world. Hajj makes Islam a global mission. Hajj makes Islam a global penetration. Hajj makes Islam, you know what? The CIA was looking for Al-Qaeda and all of that stuff, right? If they really look into it, they will be like, you know what? If we want to stop Muslims, we have to stop their Hajj because they come from every part of the globe, meet each other, and go back and spread everything. But since we're not doing it, they're not bothered.
Yeah. I mean, they have, in one sense, because over the years...
I'm just giving you an angle.
Over-commercialized, it's become so prohibitively expensive. There's many people who are unable to go. But even sort of mentioning something different in the sense that, we are just reduced everything into a ritualistic performance of worship. And secondly...
No, it's not ritual, it's individualistic rituals.
Yeah, individualistic
So
rituals.
Hajj is a
But what
town
about,
hall.
what about nationalistic borders that were created for Islam, which has completely, in one way, devalued the ideology of one ummah?
That came way later. We started corrupting the definitions of Salah and Hajj and Zakah. That's why all these nation states came about.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have lost whatever we lost in the Second or the First World War and the whole, ramification of all of this is now. Okay. So Hajj is a town hall. That means Salah is the small town hall in every region, every street, every city. And all of these little clusters combine to give, that momentum for everyone to come together, learn from Hajj, go and teach their masjid. Everyone comes to the masjid. So Muslim is never an individual unit. Muslim is always a collective unit. I am a nobody if I'm a one-man army.
Yeah.
I am everything if I am about the community. All my potential will be what's the word? Used into if I am a guy for the community. And what the potential has to go into is a machine which is working for a purpose. Otherwise, what's the point of the potential?
Yeah.
I could become a cancer. I am a cancer actually if I'm not working for the purpose and the community at the same time.
Yeah.
So, but that is what a cancer is. It starts working on its own
Yeah.
in that very system.
Yeah.
So, a masjid is a smaller unit of what a Hajj represents. So, we go perform the same town hall 5 times in our own masjid.
And then we lock it straight after each salah. And
Not just that, not just that. We kick everybody out before we lock it.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Literally, we're, battered out of our masjids. What are
Yeah.
you doing sitting in the masjid?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm talking about every part of the world. Okay, so this masjid was supposed to get every Muslim together into a same room, literally the room, not just the building, so that people can see each other, talk to each other, look at each other, observe that this man is in need of something, or this man can give me something, literally, tangible things, and not just emotional support. I'm talking about physical support. I'm talking about financial support. I'm talking about political support. I'm talking about economics, and I'm talking about, things that actually you can measure and, see, and touch and feel. Not just a good idea, even though an idea is worth way more than any kind of money that anyone can give. But not just but the follow through of the idea to come, bring people together. So we redefine Salah now. We redefined Hajj. We redefined Zakat. We redefined everything because we redefined the Quran. We've changed the psychology and the underpinning of the Allah Azza wa Jal's underpinning of the Quran. And as soon as we, changed that foundation of the Quran, everything just fell apart. So what do? The solution is we recreate the original world order. We recreate that original psychology, and we create that original fascination in our kids and ourselves, and then we redefine. It's going to start by redefining the Quran, redefining it back to the original of how the Sahabas were looking at the Quran.
This is centuries of decline, and
It can happen in one generation, maybe 2.
and to reverse that, you think you
because
can do it
it's-
in 1 or 2 generations?
Yeah, you can, because we're talking about I'm not talking about we're going to go back to the epitome of Muslims in 1 or 2 generation. We can, Wallahu alam, but the definitions can change any given moment.
Yeah,
Any one big event is going to change anything.
Yeah.
We need to create that. I call it the global reset.
The movement,
Palestine is
the
a
movement.
potential. Yeah. No, movement comes later. The change of concept can be done in mere, a series launches on Netflix in wherever country and goes global in that very second. You need to understand, Netflix is another symbol of what I was talking about, how the human fascination works. And no Muslim is working on it. How my kid or every child in the world is into cartoons. Why is every child into cartoons? Why is this not the number 1 question asked by Muslim scholarship around the world? Because they just feel underconfident, low self-esteem and worth when they talk about these concepts because they don't know the first thing about it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about it, the brain, not just the mind. If every child is into cartoons, there is something really big to work on here. I mean, that's so delicious of a data that I can spend, days in, days out, for months and months, trying to go into the elements of the brain of how the child comes closer to the cartoon so effortlessly. Every single time. He runs towards it. He can kill for it. Just to catch that one glimpse of one scene of one cartoon, regardless of whatever kind of cartoon that is. You think this is a small matter? It's a game changer. That's what I'm saying. We need
But
to...
we just see it as a convenient tool to distract and occupy the kids while we do our own things. And
Yeah, it's like a swimmer doesn't even know he's actually in water.
yeah.
He's inside the pool. He doesn't even know that. What you think is just the word dumb does not really suffice for the kind of situation we're in. A swimmer doesn't even know he's inside the pool. That's what mommies and daddies are going through. Their kids are running towards the cartoon and they don't even know how does this.
That's
it's just such a big phenomenon going on. They're not looking at it.
So you're going to enlighten us?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These things should go into the Muslim labs. That's called IMS. We need to see the psychology and the biology of things, and then substitute the Quran and retranslate, redo the image of the Quran, so that these children would be like, "Mommy, why are we putting food on the table? When are we going to open the Quran first?"
Subhanallah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's amazing.
This is what we can do, we can achieve, inshallah. Only if we redefine the Quran based on the original hardware and the software of the human body. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Safat, Allah says, don't you see up in the heavens? And don't you see, look inside your anfusikum? And after that, you know what Allah says? That this Quran is the book of Haqq. What does that got to do? These two things got to do with the Quran being Haqq. Literally, Allah is saying you have to reverse engineer all of this. I've given you all of these things. You have the lab. You have the instruments. You just have to mix the recipe. The equation is going to, run on its own.
Amazing.
This is so simple. We just don't want to
Bother. Make the effort.
No. We just don't want to, look out the window. It doesn't even take any effort. See, I do not doubt. The one thing I do not doubt in Muslims or any human beings is the sincerity of the mothers and fathers towards their kids. That's another sign.
But it just needs realignment.
Yeah, no, listen, just like the cartoons and the music and the politics I just told you, this is another sign. So we can reverse engineer from there that sincerity, that effort, that possessiveness of the mommy towards his child, and the urge for putting every drop of blood, sweat, tear, money into getting this child into a better, space in less than 10 or 20 years. Every parent is trying to do that. That is another, a constant in the chemistry lab for us. How do human beings behave like this? And we can actually put the Quran right there. We have all of the elements right there in front of us. We're just not looking at it from the lens of human behavior and psychology. And our Quran is literally saying, fi anfusikum, look into yourself. What is even, for 1,000 years, I do not know what human beings and Muslims, how are the scholars translating this ayah, fi anfusikum? Look into yourself. What does that even mean? You know what they do? They take philosophy out of it. Actually, they put philosophy into it, They say it's a philosophical thing. Look into yourself, look into your mind. Even though Allah is saying literally, look at your behaviors, see the constants. Why are you not looking into yourselves? It is far simpler to translate this ayah so simply. It is the simplest translation. Look into yourselves. Fi anfusikum is the plural pronoun. Fi anfusikum. Allah said, Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawm hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. It's the plural pronoun. It's not, Islam is not individualistic.
Obviously.
And we were talking about before the podcast, you said, if we can start on an individual, right? I think the biggest pattern is when human beings come together and they're naturally coming together. It's normative. It is the most normative, it's the basis of all normative behavior. Human beings come into a community.
But it must start from the individual.
They cannot. That's what my case is.
No, but they have
You need to change the individual. We all agree to that. If you need to change the individual, you need to work on the group, because the individual is going to structure himself into the group regardless of whether you're teaching him the Quran or evil. He's going to structure himself into it. That's the design of the individual.
But the individual has to, first and foremost, be aligned to the true divine source.
Cannot. Cannot. I'll tell you why not. Ask me why. Because the individual is designed on a chemistry which tuned itself from the group.
That's right. That's nurturing from the environment, yet?
No, it's not just the environment. So let's just say if there's a group of 10 people, okay, 9 people are doing something, and you're teaching on that one guy, Quran and Seerah and everything. Those 9 people will have way more effect than you teaching him Quran. Mm-hmm. You need to first, you need to take your teaching and perspective from outward in rather than inward out. Mm-hmm. Okay? So if you want to fix the individual, which we both agree, we have to fix the individual. They're moral, they're political, they're mental, they're emotional, they're physical. all of those quadrants need to, to go up. But it is not going to go up unless our strategy is for the group around him. Okay? If the strategy is for the group around him, you're going to have 10 folds of results in, less than 1% of the time and effort.
But you see, if you individually program one person about the true purpose of their existence, give them the clarity of their identity, and then those individuals come together as a group.
Why would they come together?
They would come together to fulfill
Why would they come
the
together?
true purpose, because they're now aligned in a single goal.
Why would they come together?
Why would they? Because it's a duty upon us Muslims to come together as a ummah. Islam is not sent to us as
I know it's philosophy.
for individual.
I know we have the same philosophy. So you give him duty. Why would he fulfill this duty? What is the part of this machine that fulfills duties?
Is to be known.
No, but this machine is already going towards the movement of his elders and his teachers and his cousins and his friends and his school and his, the whole system that he's in.
But I'm saying we need to go
so you
beyond
want me
that.
you're telling me to detach myself from this?
No.
That's working on an individual, right? That's what you said. Clean your own self, cleanse your aura, cleanse your body, soul, spirit, mind.
But that will then create a magnetism for those same like-minded people aligned to a divine purpose to come together.
Yeah, it's not going to happen like this in chemistry. Chemistry is against it. They're not going to come together.
We're going to talk about this in the next episode.
Okay.
Yeah, and inshallah, there's a lot more that we really need to dig into to show that how the individual should first and foremost work on the individual.
We should. See, that's what I want to achieve as well. I want to fix the individual. But in order to fix the individual, see, a guy's in the swimming pool and he's going through some virus going into his body. You got to clean the water so that, we can fix his body. Just like that. If you wanna fix your headache, you don't put the aspirin in your head. You put the aspirin in your stomach, right? The stomach works as a system, and the system fixes the bloodstream going through.
But going back to the analogy of the swimming pool, you stop the wound or the place from where the infected water is coming into the body, and that's what we're going to talk about next in the next episode. Sure. Jazakallah, may Allah bless you, and inshallah, we continue this conversation again.
Inshallah. Yeah.